It's just, let me quickly get through this. I need kind of supply of lights at the same time. I'm trying to work out the two together. Just allow me. Okay. So, I believe it's better. Can you hear me clearly now? But I'm not hearing anybody. Please, if you can speak to me, I will appreciate it.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much.
I can hear you, sir.
Okay. I hope it's clearer than before. Is it clearer than before? All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So thank you. I trust that we have a great night today. Well, tonight I feel we should just do a kind of interactive section about tax 2. I'd like to know what you know. So that we can share knowledge. Teach me what you know, and I teach you what I know about tax 2. Now today, a number of persons have sent documents to me. I'm sorry, I've not touched any of them. I'm sorry, I actually had a very long journey. Please, if you can help those who probably are not able to connect their audio, please just send the message that they should press what they should press what they need to press. Please, if you can just press audio in, and they will not have to have issues. I don't know whether you can help me to do that. Mr. Sas, please help me. So people are not connected properly. Okay, I think they are now connected. Thank you. So now we are going to have the kind of summary. I'm sorry, I've not been able to check the stuff sent to me today because I've been sort of engaged and it's been a very tight time. I just got to have time this evening to do anything I wanted to do. So by the grace of God, tomorrow I will be doing the check-ins and I will reply everybody. Now, the question I want to ask tonight is going to be interactive. Maybe we should just do it like a revision week. Ideally, we're supposed to be having reading and speaking on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But we'll be having it like this. Speaking will be Wednesday and Friday. All right. So today, revision day, question day. I'm ready to answer all questions. Some people have asked me some questions personally, and I told them I'm not able to answer personally unless on the platform. And if you have anybody with questions from listening, reading, tax 1, tax 2, we'll be answering today. And I will be taking my time because on Wednesday we'll do speaking, and on Friday we're going to do speaking. Then next week, we're going to be having what I call mock tests. And it's going to be three mock tests. And it's going to be very, very interesting, you know. It will be on this platform. Now, I'm just thinking about it. We see how it goes, yeah. It will be on this platform, and we'll see what we do. Maybe we'll just focus on writing and reading, and then we leave it listening, or probably we'll do something like Monday, for listening and speaking. Okay. Then Wednesday for writing and all. We find a way around this, but it will be interesting. It will be interesting. So if you're happy about this, can I say something like yes or something? And if you are not happy about it, just say no. Well, it's good that we actually test ourselves. There's no point if we just assume that we are fine and probably we are still struggling around it. Oh, very good. So, in one of the groups that I created, where we're having classes, out of about 25 persons, 10 people did the test, and all of them had overall 7. But few people just had 6 or so in listening and writing. Those people now they're already gearing up and they're getting better. But my own is that if you have 9999 in tests, you have 9999 in test, 9999, and you have not done the real exam, don't stop practicing, no, because that 999 is fake, you. Until you collect the certificate and see that 9999, the 999 is still fake until the certificate appear. So let's not be overwhelmed by any result that you collected now. Once the exam has not been done, nothing has been done. So, all right. So today's question day. So I'll be waiting for us. Please, if you would like to ask your question, just because I don't want to just do a blind summary. I don't want to do a blind summary. That's why I wanted us to ask questions. Okay, please, even if you know it but you're not so sure, please ask questions. Are you getting me now? Yeah, like you know it but you're not really sure. You're still shaking. Ask. Okay, or probably want to ask on behalf of somebody. Okay, please let's do this.
Good. Can we start now?
Very well.
Yes. My question is the first listening test that you gave us, Cambridge 8, test 1. The number 6, the 6th question is, I think the question is not more than 2 words. I wrote fresh refreshment.
Okay.
The answer that I wrote was
Samuel. Your pastor fine, super. So that's fine. Hello, I'm not hearing you anymore, please. Hello, please. I'm not hearing that question anymore. Let me see whether that's going to the next year. It is good to hear. It's my first time here. Okay. How can we review the framework for writing tax 1? Okay. Now, Ma, I didn't hear the question anymore. So I will be focusing on the ones I'm seeing currently. Then we can now have the other ones as they come. But please do not cheat yourself. If you are coming for the first time, you can still ask your questions. Even if you don't know anything about it, just ask as easily as you can now. At the way it comes, I will answer as fast as I can. All right. Now, the question here is, how can we write the framework for tax 1? You see, the best way to prepare for IELTS, eh? Are we together, please? The best way to prepare for IELTS,
Yes.
okay, is to know the simplest things and leave the hardest things for the professors of English. All right. What are the tips? And the most important tip for IELTS is the tips of practice. There are people that have found out success in IELTS after only one encounter with a coach. I have a particular student. All I did for that guy was to send in my own teaching materials. And as a matter of fact, he paid for it. No single teaching section. I didn't check his essay once. Just took my teaching materials. And when he had the exam, he had 8 in listening, 7.5 in reading, 7 in speaking, and 7 in writing, and 8 in speaking. And I said, what did you do? I didn't teach you once. He said, I went to the materials, I mastered it carefully. So many people want to be taught, and then they don't want to even do anything. Just be teaching me, be teaching me. I'll be saying, okay, yes, yes, I'll be saying yes. After you have all the teaching, if you don't do personal work on your own to master what you have learned, you will not be able to have the success you want. That is the most crucial work in IELTS, which is the most important thing. Now, and that's the reason why the way I teach people is such that I don't try to write essay for you. You know, some people when we are teaching essays and all that, they want me to write an essay as a framework of what I taught them. But I prefer that you go and use my framework to write an essay for me. Then let me correct you. So that by the time I correct you, I can know your strong points and your weak points. But they say no, write an essay as an example. So by the time they see the example essay, they say, wow, it's so simple. They now try to write it, and then when they are finding difficulty, they abandon it. So one has to be very tenacious as it relates to trying to work out what one has learned into real ease, for you to find ease doing it. Now, why am I saying this? For writing tax 1, there are only 2 principles that make you to pass writing tax 1. Only 2. 1, if you can know how to draw an outline. And I want to shock you. Drawing an outline is an invisible aspect of tax 1 writing. It's invisible because you are not going to write it in your question sheets. It is going to be in your, you're not going to write it in your answer sheet. It will be in your rough sheet, and then your rough sheet can be your question. The examiner will not look at it. So when you are now using that, if you can draw an outline properly, you have 90% of success in tax 1. Write what I just said down now. It's a secret. But the funny thing is that it is not visible. Your examiner will not see what you have done. But if you can do it properly, 90% success is assured. Why? In your outline, you have the kind of data you are writing. In your outline, the unit of measurement is noted. In your outline, the groups in your graph are outlined, they are written out. The pattern, if it's a movement essay, of course, movement data is when the time frame for that particular essay moves from a particular time to another time. While static is when the time is static, it's just on one spot, or there's no time at all. So if you can get now, the place where people have a lot of problem is that point of getting the trend and exception. Some people don't know the real difference between a movement data and a static data. So sometimes they call a movement data static, and they call it a static data movement, and that is the confusion. So when that confusion has come like that, and because the trend for a movement is talking about the pattern, whether it increases or it decreases over time, or it fluctuates over time. Why for static, it is talking about the highest and the lowest, not about issue of fluctuating or not fluctuating. It's the highest value that is the trend, lowest is exception. That's all about this, whatever for static. So if you now mistakenly call a movement data to be static, that means you will be losing the highest and the lowest instead of the pattern. And you will like your essay with that. Instead of to be talking about something increase, something decrease, you're talking about, and the highest was this and the lowest was this. That will first of all send you to a zero error, to error in that essay. So drawing the trend correctly, which is number 4 part of your outline, gives you an edge in your essay. And that is the most important part that many people don't know how to do. And then the 15 is write the highest trend and then the highest exception. This is important for your outline, for your overview, so that you can draft your overview properly. So now that is the outline. Now the introduction now involves paraphrasing the question, which is introduction, writing an overview, which is the highest and the lowest, with any other significant value that is involved. You know, maybe the highest happens to reduce all through the time, or the highest trend is the lowest value. You know, sometimes it's like that. Now, so when you have all of those things, you needed to like write your overview in a way that will reflect it very well. Then we now move to the last one, which is the body 1 and body 2. And the body 1 sometimes involves the trend, all the trends being written, and then your body 2 involves all the exceptions. Now, when you now have a situation where you have 2 or 3 graphs, then you can now say, all right, the graph 1, body 1, graph 2, body 2, graph 3 or pie chart 3, body 3. And meanwhile, if it is not a movement data, that's when it can be done like that. But if it's a movement data, you have to look at the flow over the years to decide the ones that will be trend and the ones that will be what? Exception. That's the simple frame of writing task 1. All right. With the permission of Mr. Bella, we should start on that class in July. With his permission. We'll just after next week class, I think that should be around 27 or 20, something like that. You know, we have like a week break or something just to allow you to incorporate and all that. Then, with his permission, start the class afresh and all that. So, but understand that if you can write your outline, you have passed task 1. All you just need is know about CCTV. What is CCTV, sir? Who knows CCTV? I'm not talking about Chinese television center. Who knows CCTV?
Connected device.
Yes.
Change.
Yes.
Time.
And
value.
And for static data, sometimes it is what? Sometimes that place, that time is place for static data.
Is place, yes. CCPV.
CCPV. So if you are wondering what are they saying, what the simply meaning is that you have not always been in class. So what it means is that attend the July class. I believe that is going to be most interesting. So can we have other questions?
Yes, the question I was asking in
Thank you,
Cambridge, the question I was asking on listening test 1, the listening test that we did, Cambridge 8 test 1,
yes.
the number 6 answer that I wrote
Yes.
because they said not more than 2 words. So I wrote fresh refreshment. But when I saw the answer at the back, it was refreshment. So why was my answer wrong?
Maybe they didn't mention fresh.
They did. They did. I had it.
Okay. Now, the bottom line for me is this. The context at which they mention fresh may not have implied that you should talk about it. Okay. And then the sentence that you probably fixed your answer into may not be able to contain semantically the word fresh.
Okay.
Because they also watch semantics. If probably they gave an option, and then if you put fresh there, it's going to distort the meaning.
Okay.
Then that the word fresh there is not going to work. And then because of that, they give it wrong. But of course, whenever you are going to give an answer, look at the sentence that you are giving an answer. Does it fit in? If it fits in, then you go ahead. Yes, sometimes it doesn't fit in like that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so can we have other questions? This time I'll be very calm. I'm not going to be under pressure. Okay, I'm still finding reading aspects somehow difficult. Very, very normal, sincerely. Reading is one of the most stubborn aspects of IELTS. And last week, I think it's a few students that I was talking to, how to maximize time in reading. Can we do this for 5 minutes? How to maximize time in reading. Who is ready for this? All right. So yes. I want to teach you a secret. Now, how do you do that? 1, I will tell you 5 secrets. 1, deal with the passages individually. Deal with the passages individually. Somebody's talking about what does IELTS entail. He's talking about new class. We'll talk about IELTS next. Don't worry. We'll do this one in July. Don't miss July class. Well, somebody can kindly let me answer. IELTS means International English Language Testing System. And it has 4 modules. Listening, reading, writing. Thank you, sir. Somebody is talking. Okay. Thank you, sir. So somebody is ready to teach us now. So let me just continue with my little class, and I hope you will understand me now. Treat the passages individually. That means do not try to answer the 40 questions in 60 minutes. Rather, answer the first passage in 15 minutes. Even if you're number 2, after 15 minutes, go to the second passage after 15 minutes. That means set alarm. Set alarm. It trains your skill of time. The second thing is, let me finish this first one. 15 minutes for the first passage, 15 minutes for the second passage, 15 minutes for the third passage. Then you now use the last 15 minutes to answer the questions you left without answering. Okay. So that will be like a free time to check your work again. So you can now go back. Now, somebody said, sir, there's usually a very strong urge to answer some certain questions. It is the second rule. Rule number 2, never spend more than 2 minutes on one question. Never spend more than 2 minutes on one question. Never. See, for that first 15 minutes that you are trying to work on, maximize your time on question. You see, let me tell you a secret, a formula. It is better, not better, it is logically easy to answer questions under a relaxed atmosphere than a non-relaxed atmosphere. If you are not able to answer a question for 2 minutes under a relaxed atmosphere, you have 13 minutes for the other 12 questions unanswered, for which of those other 12 questions, you may be able to answer 10 for 1 minute each. So if you now spend 5 minutes on one question, you have deprived yourself of answering other 3 questions that you would have answered under 1 minute under a relaxed atmosphere, because you are trying to pressure yourself when there was no pressure, because nobody was telling you 5 minutes more. You are not having intention that the question is 50 marks. The question is also 1 mark, just like other questions too. So the wisdom now is, when there is no pressure, utilize the time of no pressure to answer as many questions within the short time than to spend or waste the time because you feel there is time. Now, when you have been able to, if you're able to answer 10 questions without pressure for 15 minutes and you have 3 questions left, you go to the next passage, you answer 10 for 15 minutes, you have 3 questions left. Go to the third passage, you answer 10, you have 15 minutes, and then you have 3 questions left. How many questions will you have after? 9 questions. And you still have what? 15 minutes. If those 9 questions are very tough, at least you'll be able to answer at least 5 of the 9 questions for 15 minutes. That's if you end up spending 3 minutes on the question because you feel it is tough, of which you may even not end up spending up to that because you have read the passage, you have known about the passage, so the pressure will be less. That no matter how much is 5, 10 minutes more, 2 minutes more, you know you have done the bulk of the work, so your mind will be relaxed. And that will give you a possibility to be able to answer the rest question more relaxingly. Now, the reason for tension towards the end of the exam, especially IELTS exam, is because many questions have not been answered. And the pressure is, I must answer this. Hey, this one. Hey. Now, if you can just delay that pressure to the end of the exam, you kind of de-escalate the pressure by kind of fixing yourself up or limiting yourself to at most 2 minutes per question, and you try to answer them. By the time that becomes part of you, the next issue that you will now have is correct answering, which will come from more skill. So better wisdom is, do not put yourself under pressure to get all the questions at the expense of time, because time is part of the war that you are fighting in IELTS. If possible, is the most crucial war. And if you cannot deal with time, you cannot deal with IELTS. So disciplining yourself is number one. So don't spend more than 15 minutes per passage and answer them individually. The second rule is answer the simpler questions first. Write that down. Answer the simpler questions first. What that means is, don't crack your brain trying to answer tough questions in your early hours. One of my students that have given me so much grief, I didn't tell her this secret. She went to answer the toughest questions first, and she answered 32 questions or 33 questions and had the 6.5. That was 30, 29, 28 of 33 questions. She has spent much time, wasted more time on tougher questions. And tougher questions become smaller, becomes easier under familiarity. So in the process of answering simpler questions, familiarity comes. And by familiarity, tougher questions becomes simpler. So on the long run, you end up answering the simpler question. You end up seeing that the tougher questions are actually simple. All right? Mr. Osas, thank you very much. Number 3 rule. Now, before I go to that, what are simpler questions? Simpler questions are fill in the gap, multiple choice, labeling, summary, classification, direct answer question. Those are simple questions. Tougher ones are yes or no given and match edges. And this is because synonyms for yes or no given could be conflicting. And match edges too could have very headache bringing synonyms. That's all. But if you have better sound of the question, it will not give you a problem at all. You will find it easy. All right? Now, to answer those simple questions first, the tougher questions last. So if you end up spending the 10 minutes or the 13 minutes that you allocated on simpler questions, and now just reserve the remaining 5 minutes for the other questions. It's a wise number 2 or number 3 now. Number 3. Number 4. Number 4.
What's the third one?
Sorry, you can remind me the things I've said so that I can know whether you are following them.
Number 1, deal with passages individually. Then answer the simpler questions first. That's the number 2.
Yes. I talked about 2 minutes. Don't spend more than 2 minutes on the question. Did I talk about that?
That's under number 1.
All right.
Never spend more than 2 minutes on one question. Then do not put yourself under pressure.
Okay. I'm going to have the question, please. Now, the third or fourth, whatever one you put it down, is that attempt your routine for the exam during practice. attempt your routine for the exam during practice. Attempt your routine for the exam during practice. What this means is always try to get used to a particular routine for the reading test that you will always replicate. You always replicate. Okay. I will answer those questions too, but let me try and finish up this one. I always attempt your routine. Now, let me tell you, when I was practicing in my for my exams, I had the routine. The routine is 15 minutes per question, and then I will go to toilet after the second passage and come back, then continue and try to finish. So I observed that it was not difficult for me to go to toilet under the real exam. All right? It was not difficult for me to go to the exam. It was not difficult for me. So practice your routine and get used to it. If your routine is that you will sleep for 5 minutes, don't try it too. They not come and tell you that all right. So, excuse me. I'm having hiccups.
Sorry, sir.
All right, so now moving on. Don't have your mind on it. Time has, thank you, teacher, thank you. Time has a major fear impact that reduces your potency in answering questions. So, okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So, time has a way to impact fear. So, you see, each time your mind, what I discovered over time for me is that whenever I'm answering ISM reading questions, I laugh and I forget about time. Now, why I have alarms? The alarm is for me to remember anything about time. I just set the alarm and forget about it. So once I have pam, 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 I know that's as it's 2. Pam, pam. Even if I'm number 4, as it's 2, I don't care where I am, which question I am, as it's 2, don't debate. Once it's number 3, passage 3, and then I'm off. Because the moment you are remembering time, and that's the reason why when you say 5 minutes more, you just have key. It's a normal physiology that will naturally take away your mind from the work and put your mind on the time. And because your mind enter the time, you forget the answer. You will see the answer like this. You will say, me more. You will see the answer live, and you know. So because your mind is needed. Okay, so having your mind away from time can really help a lot. Why still setting alarm? Another beautiful tip is practicing with your coach. Practicing with your coach. Now, I used to do something for my students at the time. We would do competition, the first to finish. Now, basically, it's fun. The person I did it with, every time I used to win anyway. I get everything. But that is not actually the issue. This is just to steer a kind of challenge. I can do it. Somebody is doing that. So you can form a group with some friends that probably are good in reading and then practice together. That could possibly help you a lot to get better. Now, I have some questions here and they are related to reading. So let me just answer them straight on and see how we can move. Somebody said, sir, what in the case where you have yes to not given and match edges in all the sections? Very, very straightforward. Don't be bothered. Whatever you can finish in 15 minutes, you stop and you continue. Now, I don't know whether whether you need to know the secrets. Let me just add it to the secret. Practice grants you a leverage of perfection. Write it down. Practice grants you a leverage of perfection. What it implies is that unconsciously you will find out that you are getting better. Now, the first few times you will get these things done, you may have some difficulty, but see, once you are aware that you are consistent in practice, you are working with your time frame, and you are committed to somebody should write it down so that I want to know that we are together. Is Emma write it down? Emma just write it down. Sorry, I don't want you to see my mouth when I'm drinking anything. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Your practice will naturally help you. It's a natural thing, but you will not know. You are not ready to know. I tell people the best approach to reading is once in a week practice. I'm sorry, once in a day practice. Don't practice two texts of reading every day. Just do one text made of 3 passages. And that one text, you can do it 10 times. So, I tell people, when you get 30, 32, 29, 27 in a particular reading test, don't say, oh, I didn't get very well, and then throw the thing away and say, oh, I'm not improving. No, take that reading test, do it again, do it again, do it again. Now, I already know the answer. Now, let me tell you what you are doing. You are practicing a skill. If now, for instance, you miss a penalty, you knew where the keeper jumped to, and in that particular penalty that you miss, it's not the Champions League. It's like a practice section. Maybe you are doing practice with your friends, and you miss a penalty. Because it's practice section, will they kill you? They will say, play it again. And that is the principle. You will play it again until you're able to score. And by the time you score, you will know, okay, when I wanted to play the penalty, I did my leg like this, and the player went like this. That means that if I do my leg like this, the player will go like this. So that will naturally give you a better ability to practice play penalty properly. Do you understand? Now, when you are practicing a Cambridge reading text that you got 35, 32 or 25, and you practice until you get 40, what you have done is you have learned, at least if it was 5 times you practice, you have learned 5 different ways to approach another test and get a very high mark. Even though you know this, you likely will pick the answer easily. But the skill that you have to go through to be skimming and scanning, you still applied it. Even though you knew you had the answer, or at least you shall see this something like this. That's still skimming and scanning. You pick the keywords and you attach it to the keywords in the question. That's practice. Abi. And then during the matching headings, you have to read the question first. You read the passage, you skim the passage, went to the question, went back to the passage, and started looking for the answer. It's so unconsciously you are doing what you are doing, but it's getting better in your mind and in your brain. It's being registered that you are getting better, even though your mind tells you know the answer, but your mind will not still forget that you still got it. I've seen people that practice a reading test 3 times and are still getting below 30. So, how did you miss it? I did not see the answer, not me, because they were not able to remember the answer, which is even better. But practicing gives you the opportunity to shaping your skills on a familiar subject, so that you can be able to use that same skill on an unfamiliar subject. And that's the reason why when you are practicing in the pitch, you play with your friends in normal practice. Even when they are doing friendly match, you play with a familiar foe. Okay, that's even a serious match. in normal practice, maybe man you are practicing their football, they play with themselves. So you have to use what you have to master what you need to know, so that you can attack what you don't even have at all. I mean, you can attack what you don't know at all. Right? So don't do more than one reading text per day, which is made up of 3 passages. Now, if you are so tired, in fact, your neck is paining you, your mind is paining you, everything is paining you, just do one reading passage, which is 13 questions. Just do that one, and if you get below 10, do it again. You get below 10, do it again, until you get 13. Then you know, okay, I think I am better now. But I will advise that you try to do a reading test per day. Don't be under pressure. So that neck is the issue. Oh my God. You can trust the stress IELTS gives. I know a personal friend that told me that the number of hours she devotes for IELTS is 5 hours daily. 5 hours daily for 3 weeks. 5 hours daily for 3 weeks. 9 to 2. And everybody knows, once it's 9 to 2, everybody just go and sleep. Like, they don't need to announcement. Do you want to go to America? Yes. Oh yeah, you face this side. Oh yeah, you. And they will just leave her in the sitting room 9 to 2, 9 to 2 every day. And one night she just came. She had 8.5 in listening, 7.5 in reading, 6.5 in writing, and 8 in speaking. So you see, it's about devotion. And if you don't learn how to devote time, if you don't know how to devote time to IELTS, and you want to now say you got collect one tip from Liz English, another tip from J English, another tip from this one, tips from this stuff. Well done. Tip. You got all the tips. You just on the day of the exam, you will not remember anything again, because it is not knowledge that will help someone to pass IELTS. It is skill. And the skill must be sharpened on a routine basis, not just knowing it. No, just knowing like we used to know our books and we cram and pass. If you cram in IELTS, they will get you, and that's problem. So back to what I was saying. When you meet excess yes, no, not given questions, whatever time frame that is allowed for you to do it within that 15 minutes, just do it. Then go to the next question and do it, and all that. All right. I think somebody else asked another question. Let me see. Somebody said, okay, I think that's all. Okay. So now, I don't know whether I've dealt well with the issue of timing. You see, this session that we are doing today, some people will say, I tell you the truth, we need this session because I've been under pressure of teaching the last few weeks. So there are many things I said very fast. So this is the time for you to check your notes. And the ones probably that you did not hear very well, just let me know. I will say it again. Okay? So, and you will see I'm a bit relaxed, even though I'm tired, but I'm a bit relaxed, and I'm able to like break it down, and at the level I believe you understand. So I will still entertain more questions on reading if there's any that probably wants to be asked. I would love to entertain more questions on reading for us to move forward. I feel like talking about the skill of skimming and scanning again, but nobody asked, so let me just leave that. Somebody is asking another question. Okay, I see writing thesis and outline statement as too much repetition. Okay, when writing a viewpoint essay, your body paragraph seem bulky. Can you split it into 2? All right, 2 questions here. 1, thesis statement as repetition, and then outline as repetition. Now, I will tell you a secret. The secret is, when I was preparing for ISD on the 5th occasion, my teacher did not teach me about thesis statements. It was when I started reading after I finished, when I passed, and I was reading materials to be able to like get people to pass the exam like I did. That I discovered the word thesis statements. And in fact, I did more research about it, and I discovered that thesis statement is actually important to be able to make your essay to have a direction from the beginning. In fact, when I checked on List English, I discovered that our thesis statement is more serious. In fact, in my own opinion, I don't used to put thesis in full in my discussion essay, but List English say you must put two. All right. So how do you now avoid repeating yourself? Is simple. The use of synonyms and the use of paraphrasing. What you are trying to say when you try to conclude your thesis statement by saying, I strongly agree that children should be punished. Okay? So that they could be better citizens in the future. Maybe that's what the question said. You now put a full stop. You now move to the outline statement. What is the outline statement saying? It's saying that this is what I agree. This is what I will discuss. This is what I agree. Now I'm going to talk about this. Now, what is the outline statement saying? I'm going to discuss the reasons why I agree on this. That's all. Now, why do I have to outline the aspect why I agree? I'm sorry that I'm going into deeper details, but listen carefully. Why do I have to outline the outline that I will discuss the reasons of what I agree on and why I agree on it? It's so that the examiner will know my range of English proficiency. How can I change the words I previously used? If I did not change the words, that is when it's repetitive statement. But if, for example, I said, this essay will discuss the reasons why children should be punished. Now, I said I agree that children should be punished. This essay will discuss the reasons why children should be punished. I've mentioned to be punished how many times? Twice. And because I mentioned it twice, I do not express a level of proficiency in English. Some people have said, sir, I don't know a synonym, so I will do it, I will do something. This essay will discuss the reasons why it is agreed that children should be punished. So they now remove the thesis statement and say, I don't want to write children should be punished twice. That's also all right, sir. Let me show you that I have a big proficiency in English language. This I will discuss the reasons why it is necessary for involvement of punitive measures in dealing with children. Now, you read the two essays, the one that said children, it is why it is agreed that children should be punished. And you now read the one that said the first thesis statement and still went ahead to talk about that phrase that I just mentioned. Which one will you give more mark as an examiner? You likely give the person that express more words, more phrases, more long words without repeating self. And that is actually the principle of those stuff. It gives you an impression even before your examiner, before you started reading your body. Some people, they will delay their reward to conclusion. Because you look at introduction and creative statements, no no passive statements, no all the things you are looking for is not there. It is now at the conclusion. English. Now that kind of person, sorry, the person may not pass because it's delayed impression. So you can start in giving your impression very early from the beginning of your essay, which means the examiner begins to love your writing because of the way you are variating words. You are using words, not repeating the same words, but saying the same thing, and yet in different ways. All right. Thank you very much for the answer. Now, let me go to, I want to answer the questions one by one. That's why I'm trying to take it down. So, say, when you are writing your viewpoint, say, your body paragraph saying bulky. Can we go to, now, let me tell you the reason why you need a very bulky viewpoint essay. As a matter of fact, that is when you will have a 7. I can remember the question they asked me when I had the 7. I can remember now because that was the only time I wrote and I had a 7 in writing. So I can't forget. We are talking about university children. That is it that some people believe that they should learn at home and be going from home to school, while some say they should stay in school and be learning in school. They now said, do you agree or disagree with the opinion of them learning at home or learning in school? Which one do you agree? Now, I simply talked about, I disagree with the one that you should stay at home. They should go and learn in school. Because, and I told them my reasons. That's my paragraph 1. Serious one. Ogubi, because they said, give reasons. Not reason, reasons. Your topic sentence 1 is the first reason. Topic sentence 2, second reason. If you want to now write third reason, you are allowed to write it. Topic sentence 3, third reason. Then you now have all your explanations from that. Now you cannot decide that, okay, because my essay is getting too long, let me just shorten my explanation to become explanation plus example. Or I just say explanation alone. I'll get you now. Are we together, please? So now my examiner will be impressed that I gave reasons rather than reason. He'll be impressed. And when my examiner is impressed that I gave reasons, he's going to mark me based on my reasons. So it's going to. Now I found many essays that have said you should write only one topic sentence. There are many of them that have said that. I'm not a judge, so I'm not going to judge that you're right or not. But in my exam, and I wrote a concession, and that's 7. You can have the same. From the essays sample I've seen from Cambridge examiners, they wrote 2 reasons, and then a third reason in the second body paragraph. A third reason in the second body paragraph. Now wrote a concession in the third body paragraph. That was even when they had extra reason. They tried to add a second body paragraph to write the third reason, not the second, third. So that is the reason why your body paragraph 1 for viewpoint essay should be long, very long. I saw some few other questions. Let me try and answer them. Somebody said I should explain skimming and scanning under tension. Well, the first principle to deal with skimming and scanning under tension is to avoid being tense. You cannot skim under tension. Scanning is not scanning when we are not using it properly. What it means is that your scanning is actually a search mouse. Your scanning is a search mouse. Now, if you are talking about a search mouse, yes, you heard me right now. Third body paragraph for the concession, but many times it's usually in the second body paragraph. Many times it's usually in the second body paragraph. Many times than not. Okay, it's just those that have extra point that they have third body paragraph. So your scan, see now, if you are on the computer and you are trying to look for something and you are not taking your search mouse, if you are just doing like this in front of the computer, plow, and this is just rolling up and down, will you find anything? No, that means you are playing. If you are feeling that, hey, somebody is going to catch me now, and then you are trying to apply the mouse, will you be able to set it down very well? No. It's not you calm down, you just stay like this. So you are slowly calculating the movement and are trying to watch how it flows. Now, when you are doing scanning, don't just be doing. You may not be a fast-paced reader. It is not an excuse to poorly scan. Go at your pace to scan and find the answer. When you have done your pace, now let me tell you the right way to scan. You don't scan with your biro. No, you don't scan with your mouse. When the one going to the, no, you scan with your eyes and your mind. That means when you are scanning, you don't have distractions around you. Your telephone cannot ring, your friends cannot call you, you cannot be having children and say, hey, child, hey, don't be great, don't make, no, you people are making, that, you can be sure you have not done anything. There must be a total silence, total distraction-less environment. That is how scanning operates correctly. You don't scan in a noisy environment because your mind must be buried in that substance. I say most people they have not given themselves the opportunity to assess their reading skills properly because their environment has always been a major hindrance for them. You see, when I was practicing, I made sure that my phone was on flight mode whenever I'm reading. You can't tell me you are flashing me. It is not even ring. Because I discovered that whenever I am trying to search for my answers and my phone ring, sincerely, I can't find the answer. Because my mom will be like, who is this person? Even though it's a vibration, so it's not about vibration, it's flight mode. I'm telling you practical, flight mode. If you know that your own is in the midnight, when you get to your house, take a cold shower. Well, this is a late hour lecture. If I even say you want to sleep now. But fine. Whenever you are, maybe the weekend or anytime you want to do that, you sleep very well. Wake up by 2 a.m. Go to one very silent place. Let there be very strong lights. Yeah, start it. If you not get attitude, because your mind is buried. Excuse me. You can't be worried and be doing reading tests. She has not come home. Hey, no, it's not going to work. So the wisdom is that you must bury your mind because it is your mind that will be the reading, the reading instrument. Your eyes is just looking at what you are reading. Your mind is reading it. So when you are reading it like that, in your mind, you are also remembering the key notes you have, key points, or the key word you have discovered in the passage, and you're trying to follow it up to see that you are able to connect it. And also, you're also trying to see that you are discovering any synonym that looks like that word. So you're just saying, okay, maybe you read something like map. You say, map. You say, compass. Compass. Yes, something compass. Yes, and you're almost tallying it together. So it is something that you have to do with really relaxed mind, so that you can even see the words. Because when your mind is not there, your eyes can never be there. If your mind is not there, forget your eyes. You don't see any answer. Okay? So encouraging us strongly that our reading time should be silent time, not noisy, not whatever. Even you cannot be doing it and you are feeling sleepy because you say I must finish one task today. Just do one reading passage and go and sleep. Let the headache go. Come back. Do it again. That's why it is advised that if you want to write ahead, sleep very well. Not that you sleep for 10 hours. So sleep at least 5 good hours, take a cold shower, and empty your bladder at least 3 times before you enter the exam hall. That's all. So your mind must be buried and your eyes must flow systematically with the passage so that you can pick your answer accurately and then you can move forward. Is that all right? So that is skimming and scanning, and you will definitely do fine when you do that. Can you eat before go to exam hall? I will answer that one at the end of the exam, at the end of the class. I think there's some questions that they asked. I want to try and answer those questions. Somebody said, please, these reading materials used to give headache. It can be confusing. How do one give the right headings? All right. Now, in dealing with headings, matching headings, the most important thing is that they are not arranged in their order, and they are trying to summarize this topic sentence into 3 or 4 words that you don't know anything about. For some simpler questions, topic sentence is found in the first sentence. Some put it in second sentence, some put in third sentence, and some put in the last sentence. It is ridiculous, just to confuse you. What is your responsibility? Read the whole paragraph. First of all, skim the passage. Skimming means the first paragraph, the first and last sentence of the other paragraphs, and the last paragraph. That's skimming. That is, you read the entire first paragraph, then you read the first and last sentence of the other paragraphs, then you now read the last paragraph. That's skimming. It should not take more than 3 minutes or 4, latest. So when you are finished skimming, you go to the question. You read through the question and see the ones they have answered. Look at the approach they used to answer that one. Was the answer in the first line, second line? If there was no example, leave them and continue. If somebody should help me repeat the meaning of skimming, so that I will not have to stop. Don't have time. There's another question I want to ask. Please help me, please. Thank you. So when you have read the question and you have discovered the pattern they answer, if there was an example, you use that same pattern to deal with the other answers. If there was no example, just read the few words that are there, mark their words, don't do anything about it. Now go to your first paragraph. All right? Read the first paragraph. Skim slowly. Now, skim slowly means read fast. I'm sorry, I said skim. No, skim is wrong. Scan slowly. When I say scan slowly, I don't mean read slowly. I mean read fast. Scanning slowly means you are scanning, you are still very fast, but you are scanning so that you can be able to catch the words that has been said. So when you are reading a paragraph, you now summarize the paragraph. What is paragraph talking about? It's talking about development. It's talking about definition. It's talking about courses. It's talking about this or that. You pick the summary of what it's talking about. You now try to look for the one that is similar to it in the in the remaining headings. All right. And once you pick that, you have it. So you just pick that one. Maybe it's number 4, or maybe it's Roman figure 4. You pick it. You start it. On the second paragraph, read the whole paragraph. Scan slowly. Then pick the summary. What is this? What is this box of thing? Then go ahead, pick your answer in the list. All right. Do that for the remaining ones like that. All right. By the time you do that, what happens is that you are able to locate the meaning. Now, you may not get the answers of all the summaries you made, but don't be disturbed. While you are answering the others, that one will be revealed that the reason why you're not there. So you can always change the answer in the process. All that is clear. I think I've answered that. So let me see this next question. Well said, I have problem with writing. Please, sir, can you expatiate?
Good evening, sir.
Okay. Good evening, please.
Yes, sir. Please, sir, I want to get the concept of skimming very well. Like if I'm reading passage 1 now.
Okay.
Okay. You are saying that I'm going to read the first paragraph of that passage, then the last paragraph. Then
sorry, can I see your face? I'm sorry. Because Mr. Teller has always said you should try, but I always try to show your face. I'm sorry. So that I can at least connect with what you are saying. I'm hearing you clearly. I was just trying to locate the brother I was talking. But please, you can go on.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I said I want to read passage 1.
You want to do what? Yeah. You said you want to do something.
I said I want to get the concept of skimming.
Now, I said skimming is reading the first paragraph, then the first and last sentence of the second to the last paragraph. Just the first line, first sentence, last sentence, first sentence, last sentence of all the other paragraphs. Then the full last paragraph, read everything from the beginning to the end of the last paragraph. Then you now go to the question, study the question, look at how the question is being framed, and if there's an example, look at how they treated the example. If there's no example, continue and then start to scan slowly each of the questions. Do you understand me now? Okay. So somebody said, let me read what somebody said. He said, please, this reading materials, they give, okay, I think I've answered this. Say, what is the first you do after reading the question to skim? I think I've answered this a bit. This principle I just talked about skimming is only applicable when you want to answer matching headings, not for other questions. Please don't make the mistake. So someone said, my problem is writing. Please, can you expatiate on the writing of outline and overview? Now, I will not want to repeat this because I've said this on this platform before now, today. Okay. I don't know whether the person is here. If you can refer to our YouTube video or video, or look again at this. Just watch again from the beginning. You will see the place we're talking about. Now, let me just say a bit about the overview. Overview is the summary of the essay, but it could be located in the second paragraph or the last paragraph. So it's just dealing with the highest trend, then the lowest exception, and then any other significant group in the graph. That is the overview. Okay. So I was busy about the outline the other time, so I won't want to say it as much again because of the other questions. But if time is still on our side, I will come back and deal with this. Someone will say for the body, when writing examples, we say we should not personalize. But in the question, they ask us to give from our knowledge and experience. They did not ask you to give from a personal life. They only said knowledge and experience. There's a difference between personal life and knowledge and experience. That means Knowledge means something that you know. Experience is something you have seen, not what you have gone through. As the definition of experience there is not what you went through, it's what you have seen or had or known about that particular issue. So that is different. Now, what your personal life does is sometimes biased, and it loses the professional, it makes the professional touch of your answer. And then at that point, it waters down your essay and gives you another score. So just to avoid the issue of bringing yourself into a point where your examiner is seeing you not an examiner again, and that is actually a crisis because it will reduce your score. All right, I hope I've answered that. Then somebody said, what is, okay, I think somebody answered. Okay, then, sir, do they put the thought, okay, yes, I think I've said this now. Can you, now let me answer this one. Can you eat before exam? Now, let me put a stronger, please. Okay, for those who have experienced IELTS before, is it advisable to eat before exam? Anyone that has experienced IELTS, please just answer me, please. Let's try and use our personal experience to answer this. Okay, please, if you are here, you have done it before, can you help us to answer this question? Will you advise anybody to eat before going to the exam? Or taking a big cup of tea and 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes? Somebody say something light. Now, I'm going to give my own rationale behind what I want to say. If you're going to go to the exam, all right, that's my rationale. Me, I would prefer a drink, not even food, just a drink. Maybe a drink with some energy, something. Now, you know, when I was going to write the exam, for the first time, I took tea to the exam, tea. They threw my tea away at the door. So they actually prefer some, I put a lot of sugar. If you can get Coke, Fanta, Pepsi, or whatever, remove the label, and that's all. I don't think so. But no problem. Just remove the label and you enter the exam. But basically, you take something like and empty your bowel before you enter the exam. If you are not used to urinating, I want to beg you. You're not used to urinating. Don't go and urinate the exam or it will stabilize you. Okay. Just try and reduce pressure on your belly. If you know that you're going to be affected by the pressure of water, if your belly turning your side, I think it's always good and avoid pressure on yourself. Okay. Now, I think it's the last question here. Excuse me. Okay, somebody. Thank you very much for answering for me. Thank you. So, do you have other questions? Before I just see if I can speak on outline, like that was what I said I should do. Let me have other questions. I believe everybody is said that we are tired and we don't want to talk again, or you probably don't know what to ask. Please, please, what was the question now? What is the first thing you do after the question to skim this whole passage? Now, see, you did not attend my reading class. I don't subscribe to reading the passage. No, except probably you just feel that you can't do without it. In my own opinion, you can do without reading the passage. In fact, that is even faster because you don't need the passage to answer your question more than the keywords in the passage. And you need the keywords in the question to get the keywords in the passage. So very simple. If you're going to connect the keywords in the question, you must have a very clear direct a link with the keyword in the past in the passage stroke the keyword in the question. So when you get to the question, pick your keywords, and then you're already having the keywords to passage by the time you link them together, and then that gives you your answer. Chap. It was like very automatic process, and it's that straight. But some people say, well, I must read the passage. Then it's not a crime. Underline the keywords, and that helps a lot to deal with the whole thing. So for me, you don't have to skim or scan. It is when you want to deal with matching headings that you apply the principle of skimming or scanning. I hope you understand. That is the time principle can be applied. Okay. So, why looking for the synonym in the passage? Do we exactly? That is where the scanning comes from. You only skim once. Scanning takes place more often. Skimming takes place once. That is what you want to do with matching headings. But scanning is what you use to pick your answer. And the more you scan, the better you know how to scan. The more you scan, the better you become in scanning. If you don't know how to scan before, and you have never practiced the act of scanning, you never know the act of scanning until so it's like you have to do it to know it. And that is the first issue about scanning. It comes from a practice. Yes. You must learn it and learn the process very quickly. Okay. Sir, can we still send in our essays for correction while waiting for July lectures? Well, I said I was going to address this during the class. The essay I would like to address or I would like to assess are the essays that I give as assignments, not random essays, because of the strict pursuit of my class is simply based on what we have discussed that I want to assess. So if we are probably doing, now I've seen some essays right now that I've not been able to really assess well because they did not follow the standard of what we taught in class. So it's more or less like a struggle to me because I don't even know the best approach I'm supposed to because it doesn't follow the tally. Now, if probably I've taught you something and I said, do this assignment, I can use my assignment to judge you. But if I've not taught you something and then probably you have not discussed it, and then you have an essay to me, it will be difficult for me to assess the essay because I'll be working from an abstract point of view. By the time I don't know who is teaching before, I don't know what framework you have before, I don't know what's your line of thought before. So it will be difficult for me to assess you on that basis, except perhaps, I've taught you in a class like this, or I've had a personal class with you, probably proud to that time, which is now the base for my marking. Do you understand? So that actually makes it a bit of a conflict because I will just have to struggle I will just give you a mark. And when you see your mark, say, am I that bad? No, but because I didn't see what I expect you to write. And it's because you have not been in that class. So I would personally prefer that those who have listened to the lectures of writing or they are working with me personally are the ones I will be able to relate with on the basis of essay because we have a foundation that we are working with. I believe that is a bit clear. I think that's a bit clear. I still welcome other questions and I'm waiting to have them. You have more questions? So now, while we are waiting for other questions, on Wednesday we're going to be having speaking on Wednesday and Friday, and honestly speaking, we enjoy it. after the classes, we'll be having tests on Monday and Wednesday. So what we do is that on Monday, maybe we're going to be having listening and speaking. Now, maybe I will just ask the question, then one person is going to answer within 2 minutes each, since you have quite a number of hours. And then I'll try to assess you based on what you answer. And I will tell you the reason for your score. Maybe I'll use from 5 to 7 or 50%. Maybe I think if it is still on Wednesday, Monday should be for writing. Task 1, task 2. So in 1 hour, everybody writes in 1 hour. Then you send your answer. I will share. I will just look through. I'm trying to think of how best I can do it. I just look through. Maybe I pick 1 or 2, and then we analyze it together here. That actually helps us to get better on dealing with it. Then I now mark just and send your score to you. All right. Now, if after this test, this section, I mark your reading, your writing work, and I give you 7, okay, and I explain, whether I explain or I don't explain, you are fit to go for the exam. If I give you 7, you are fit to go for the exam. So that test is going to really help you to know whether you are fit. Now, for the reading, I don't know what we will do, but maybe before Monday, I would have thought come up with something that we can do. This thing, I dash everybody. Just go and let's practice ourselves. So, since the question is coming up, I'd like to invite Mr. Tunde Bella to come up now and speak to us.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Tunde.
Good evening, sir.
I just thought ask.
Good evening, sir.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
I hear you, sir.
So I just thought I'd just ask more like a feedback. So far, how do you guys think?
If you still have your questions, you can still ask. Why it comes up, you can put the question down. Then you can ask.
So I was just going to ask, how do we think the classes are going? Hello?
Going well, sir.
We're enjoying it.
We are learning.
So the reason I'm asking is...
Hello, please. Are we able to hear Mr. Tunde Bella?
Yes, very well.
Mr. Stephen has said a few times that...
Hello, everyone.
We can hear him, sir.
So Mr. Stephen has mentioned a few times that not a great deal of people do assignments and things like that. So now I'm thinking, if you're here attending the classes and you don't do the assignments, what would you expect to get out of the class? Because you sacrifice your data, you sacrifice your time, and I'll just say a few things to say. When you go through the stage, you start to earn pounds. And when you start to earn pounds, it will change the financial situation. It will change the situation of people around you. In 6 years, you become a British citizen. There are a lot of people you meet here in the UK. They've been here for a long time. They haven't got a route to become citizens yet. Some of them don't even have papers. They will envy you. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing good comes easy. So if you can put in the hard work, you come to the class, you do the assignment. Because my joy will be after doing all the sacrifice that me and Mr. Stephen and we're going through, that we can be part of your success story. And you can say, oh, Mr. Stephen, I did you can go on Twitter and tweet and say, oh, Mr. Stephen, I have passed, you know? And we can all celebrate and rejoice with you and like, yeah, another person on their way out of poverty, you know? That's just and the thing is, you taking this first step is intentional. It shows that you want to pass IELTS. Many people that fail IELTS, they underestimate the exam, like, okay, they're good at English. No, it's different. You need to understand the technicalities, and that's what Mr. Stephen is sharing with you, how to pass. You know, we're not teaching you consonant and vowel and pro. No. It's just the techniques you need, how to practical approach to passing the exams. I'm not sure where you use for free because it costs us something, you know, and it will be a good thing if we can all benefit from it and we can make the best out of it. But you might not make the best out of it if you don't practice. Even if you buy the book from Mr. Stephen, like I think he mentioned someone bought the book, that person went through the book, practiced, and then passed the exam. So I won't want to flog this issue of the need to practice. Mr. Stephen was saying something about wanting to change the timing, and probably we should go for break and come back in July. Mr. Stephen, do you want to say more about that?
Not airing at all, so I have to come out and then log in again.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
so
now
I just went on and on about the need to practice and how you can be more successful when you come into the UK, working and things like that. And then I now touched on the fact that I heard you mention something about wanting to change the class to probably July or something. I want us to explore that a bit more. Did you say to take a break and start back in July, or what would you?
Yeah. Well, I actually feel that a lot of people just joined this class towards the end. A lot of people just came in towards the end, and some people have been coming to me personally to tell me, explain this. And I feel for me to explain to like 7, 10 people differently may not be the best. So let's round off this current section next week with a test. Then we leave like a week break, maybe just maybe 29th to maybe 5th or so. Then we kick off again. This maybe the second week of the second Monday of July, and follow the same way we have been doing it, 9 to 11 like that for the whole of July. So in a way, it allows those who have probably gone through this class to have some time to reflect, study materials, and then do some more practice, and then assess themselves properly. Then why those people that probably wants to come in afresh can reload and then maybe tell other people. Then we can have a full house for July. I think that should be 5th or so. I'm not exactly sure whether it's 5th or it's about the early. That should be second Monday or so. I'm trying to look at the exact date, but I'm not so sure. But of course, people that have attended this section can always repeat the section again and further establish their knowledge on what they have already learned. While those who are doing for the first time can now get better. I mean, get to know what probably they have been learning to know.
Yeah, which I think it's I think because we have to walk around you. So there's something I would like to say. In our Telegram group, I have about 2,000 people there now. Wow. There's something I've noticed. You do a comprehensive message and send out to people, but they still want to come to you individually and ask questions. That is not sustainable. Unless you are paying for that service, it is not sustainable. So I'll say to you, Mr. Stephen, if anyone is coming to you individually, they should be paying for your time.
Yeah.
Because there's so much you can take from people. There's so much. We don't want to take liberty, you see. So this is I know we have a heart of wanting to help people, but then we have to be realistic. It will drain you, saying the same thing over and over again.
Over again.
This one comes to say the same thing. So it's better, everyone knows that if you cannot attend the class, well, tough. Pay for a private tutor session. Then if you pay and you cannot attend, well, that's your money gone, you know? So, right, because it will, trust me. So there's been times when I just started, there's been times that I vent out at people, and then I do a voice call, like voice message, and I send them voice message and tell them what I think they're doing, and tell them to try and use their brain. You know, I almost get edgy, because the thing is, if you look at the message I'll send to you, I take time to say, okay, so that anyone can look at it and then understand it. But if you go through it and you get stuck, yeah, it's fine. I can say, oh, okay, maybe this is what you should do. So if you go down that route, you might get a bad name. You might get a bad name, because it will test your patience. But the thing is, if they know they're paying for it, then it's fine. It's fine if they're paying for it. So what we are doing is to make the knowledge available to people. Yeah. And that is coming together at this time. This time is convenient for most people. You would have gone to work, you would have come back. You have to be intentional about your progress. 100%. So like if you do all of this and you don't register for IELTS, you don't save money or look for money to do the IELTS exam, you will not move. If you don't get international passports, or probably don't have time to practice, just want to be listening to lecture, listen to lecture. You not move. It's just like the private tutor session we offer, the 1 month private tutor session we offer. If you don't have a passport, what is the point of me wasting £120 getting you a private tutor for a whole month? It's just going to be wasted. But if I know you have the passport, you are ready to write the exam, then at least we can invest in you and say, okay, you know, there are chances that this money will not go down the drain. All I'm just trying to say to you is be firm if you need to. Yes, please. Fair as well. So that people understand that, okay, this is my private time. If you pay for it, I can make time for you. But if you want me to help you for free, come to the public class where we have you can ask your questions, you know. So I just think that's important for your sanity. 100%. And to every other person, I wish you good luck in your exams when you write them. I hope so far you've been able to learn 1 or 2 things, because there's a place of learning and there's a place of remembering what you have learned. So this is where prayers come in. If you're a faith person, just pray that all you've learned, because examinations is a bastard. Exam condition is a terrible time. You know, you might have prepared and you just get to the exam, you just go blank. This is why I usually advise people to, you might not eat a lot, just eat a little bit, you know, get fluids, rest the night before, make sure you get good sleep. You don't want to get to the exam and you just sleep off, you know. You know it, but you just get your brain. We are human. We cannot, you know, we're human. You know, we're not machines. You cannot cheat nature. So I pray that the good Lord will help you, and when we cross this bridge, we will all rejoice and celebrate. Tag us when you get the good news, when you eventually pass. Tag us, let us know. I'll just say, well, I'll just run it by Mr. Stephen. When will today be the last class for this month, or are we going to go to the end of the month and then start in July? What's the, so that I can know the information I send out on the Telegram group, so, and on our social media as well. So is today the last class? Hello, Mr. Stephen. let me even ask who. Let's just introduce ourselves, if that's okay. I like to know, faces and where they are. Let's start with Oloruni Shomo. Oloruni Shomo, do you want to tell us where you are, please? And is that your name? Let's spotlight Oloruni Shomo.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Is
sir.
Oloruni Shomo your name?
Akonde Olorunishomo Olorunishola.
Oh, amazing name. Where are you?
Ife in Osun State.
Great. And you're a nurse, yeah?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Nice to have you. Well done.
Thank
so
you.
let's go on to pencil spotlight. And we know you. I'll just spotlight you. Hello. I think we need to unmute you first.
Good evening, Mr. Tunde.
Yeah. So if you tell us your name and where you're from, like your location.
Moluwa Shola Efunbenle. I'm in Abuja.
And you're a nurse, yeah?
Yes.
Great. Thanks for coming on board.
Thank you.
We have Adelano. Adelano, if you tell us where your location is, just introduce yourself if that's okay.
Okay, I'm Adelano Kendi from Ogun State, Abeokuta. I'm a nurse.
Oh, are you at work now?
Yes.
Oh, great. Bawa. Okay, so let's have Osas. Osas,
Yeah.
is that your name?
Yeah, my name is Alsayande Osas.
Okay. And where's your location?
I'm located in Lagos.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
Nice to have you on here.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's go on to unmute Adenike Ademola. Is that name?
Nick,
Do you people know yourself?
Hello.
We are
Yeah.
family meeting.
You've been in school. You were.
Where's your location?
Can never change. Okay, my name is Adenike Ademola.
How
Hello.
about your location?
Okay, I'm in Lagos.
Lagos. Oh, great. Echo for sure.
Thank you.
All right. And let's have almighty Mr. Stephen, we know you. We'll come back. Mr. Stephen will end the show. So let's go to Alabi Esther. If you introduce yourself, please.
Alabi Esther is my name. I'm in Lagos.
Lagos. Oh, okay. You and the other lady, do you know yourselves?
No.
Oh, okay, great.
I don't know.
Welcome to our class.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your efforts.
You're welcome. So we've gone round. Is there anyone else who would like to introduce themselves? I don't want to force you to. If you don't want to, it's fine. I just thought it would be nice to know who we're chatting to, and I'll just ask you to start your video. If you don't want to, just ignore it. So, Mr. Stephen, I was asking if today is the last class, or when is the last class for this one?
We're going to be having 2 classes next week. That's speaking classes. No, this week, Wednesday, Friday. Speaking classes. We're talking on speaking.
So we
next
have
week,
Wednesday and Friday.
For speaking.
And then we'll go on break till
No, we'll be having a test on Monday next week. With possibly Monday, Wednesday. Writing test, speaking test, just to see
evaluate
the level people are able to evaluate, so that we'll not just have a class for nothing.
Okay.
I will give everybody that does the test their score.
I think some people have got their video on. Let's just see who they are, if that's okay.
Oh.
We have Okweoluwa. If you just introduce yourself, please.
Okay, good evening, sirs. My name is Okweoluwa Abuaba. I'm from Lagos, Ikorodu, Lagos.
Oh, nice to have you. We have 3 people from Lagos. That's great. We have someone here who is Tammy Love.
Good evening, everyone. Hello,
Um,
good evening.
we'll need
Hello,
to see
can
your
you hear
video.
me?
We can hear you, but we need to see your video.
All right.
If that's okay. Yeah. So great. Please introduce
Hello,
yourself.
good evening.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please introduce yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll leave the video.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay, we can hear you now.
I'm Lola.
Right.
I live in Ibadan.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Welcome to our class. Great to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Who's next? We have Abuaba. We have Bolaji. Bolaji, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Just tell us your location as well.
I'm in Lagos.
Oh, great. Welcome to our class. Who else? Prince Adebiyi. Prince Adebiyi, would you want to introduce yourself? I'll ask you to start your video. Terry. You know, I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it. If you want to introduce yourself, you can turn on your video. If you don't want to, it's fine. So nice to meet all of you. Mr. Stephen, this is me done. I'll just mention the importance of, oh yeah, there are a few things I need to say to you. So when it comes to relocation, yeah, so this is because someone asked me, someone was saying to him to pay some money so that they can fast track their relocation process via, I can't remember the name of the agency now. See, it is free of charge. Relocation is free of charge. So I explain to you, I am a recruiter. I help recruit nurses. I work with a bigger agency that supplies the nurses directly to care homes or hospitals. The agency gets paid to help recruit you, nurses. And this is why the agencies get paid. Most hospitals are short-staffed, care homes as well. When they're short-staffed, they need to hire agency nurses to cover their shifts. Agency nurses are very expensive, very expensive. So it is cheaper for those hospitals to hire you than to pay for agency for 3 years. Because when they hire you, your visa is valid for 3 years, and then it gets renewed after 3 years. And then after 5 years, you qualify for the indefinite leave to remain. A year after that, you qualify for the British citizenship. So the recruiters get paid already to recruit you. So you now paying someone to help you with the process is illegal. It's by the law of the United Kingdom, it is against the law. You cannot charge people to help them. So they can charge you for CV, they can charge you for uniform, they can charge you for transportation and all of that. But we don't do that with you. We don't do transportation or any of those things with you. So it is just pure greed, in my own opinion. And sometimes if people are ignorant, they play on your desperation because you want to leave, You know, you just want to do for someone to help you fast track it. Please don't. Then there are usually two options. There's the option of the NHS and there's the option of the care home. Both options are great. Both options are great. However, most NHS trusts will need you to pay for your travel, pay for everything, and then when you get here, they refund it to you. Most care homes, they pay for everything, so you don't have to pay for anything. Usually, after you pass your IELTS and CBT, they pay for your flights, health surcharge, accommodation for the first month, pay for your OSCE training. So what I usually say to people is, if you're leaving your comfort zone, because Nigeria is your comfort, you probably would have been working for a few years, so you know the system. If you're coming into a different environment, in my own opinion, it's better to go to somewhere where it is not that difficult, where the pressure is not that much. Settle down, learn the culture, grow your confidence, and then you can take on more challenges. It works differently for different people. I am always of the opinion that if I'm bringing someone in, the care home tend to be a better place with pressure. You don't want to make mistakes with medication, with documentation, those things are very sensitive. I'll give you a brief run through of how the system works. So in the NHS hospitals, you have to admit your patients. If your patient needs medication, you do the medication usually. If your patient needs washing, you might have a healthcare assistants to help you. You might need to do it yourself if you're short-staffed. If your patient needs intervention, X-ray, MRI, blood, any of those things, you still need to arrange it. And if your patient is done and they're fit for discharge, you coordinate that as well. Most times in the NHS hospitals, the patients are not long-term, they're short-term. So they come in, so some wards are quite, they have a quick turnaround, patient come in, patient come out, and you have to admit the patient, discharge the patient. The pressure is a lot, especially when you're coming in to an environment you do not know. You do not want to lose your pain. If you lose your pain, then you're not relevant to the employer. They can and God forbid you get here and you get into trouble and you have to go back home to Niger. God forbid it happens. So I'm always of the opinion that go to some, in care, on the flip side, in care homes, there's pressure as well because it's different. Remember, you still need to learn the language. All this English you are doing, just wait. When you get here and they do handover, you might not hear anything in the handover. You might not hear anything. And it's not intentional. It's just that sometimes they talk quickly because they're nice, they want to go home, or maybe their accent. So those are some of the challenges you face when you come in. So I usually say, and in care homes, on your shift, the nurse is like, she's God. What you say is final, because it is my shift. I make the final say. That's how it tends to run in care homes. They're short staffed too sometimes, but the thing is with care homes, they tend to get agency in quicker because they have to maintain safe staff-patient ratio. The NHS hospitals try, but sometimes they're able to get away with it because if you can't get agency, you can't. You just have to get on with the job. So in my own opinion, it's safer to come in with care homes. They pay for it. Sometimes you even get more money in the care homes than the NHS hospitals, but it is a thing of pride to work for the NHS. It is a thing of pride. So that is relocation to the UK. Another important thing is, please do not stay isolated when you get here. Don't look for people like you, maybe like church, because depression in this kind of environment is a slippery slope, very steep, slippery slope if you're not careful. Loneliness can set in really quickly because you go to work, you face pressure from work, you go back home, it can be a vicious cycle. So please try and look for something that can all I'm trying to say is your mental health is important. It might, and there's nothing as good as having people who you can chat to. Please do not trust people. Do not trust people. There are some people who are here and they do very dodgy things. You are coming in legit. Some of them are not. Please do not follow them and do, because these people make £1,000 in one day, £3,000 in one day. When the police come and catch them, my sister, Ekoya, you just find yourself, yeah, and you have destroyed that name, and you have destroyed your pain, because if you have a criminal, it affects your CRB, and then that might be the end of your career. So please, as much as possible, anything you're getting yourself involved in, be sure it is legit. If someone is helping you with relocation, we'll be glad to help you, but it's not compulsory. We'll help you. Anyone can help you to relocate. If they're giving you any information, make sure you can find the information on a government website or their website. You know, say for example, someone is saying to you, blood ABCD. What is there a website I can confirm, verify every information you get? If someone is telling they're getting it, meet the person, talk to the person, whoever is helping you. Let them be accessible. Have access to them. Please do not cover your mouth. They are not doing you a favor. They are not doing you a favor, because at the end of the day, they benefit too. So the only reason I can afford to pay for a few things here and there is because I get paid at the end of the day. So if someone refers a nurse to me, I am even happy to pay them commission for referring the nurse to me, because you know everyone gets a fair share. They get rewarded. I'm not a greedy person. The idea is, let us bring our people in, you know, let them benefit from it. If you have access to help people in, you know. So I'll not bother you too much with all my rants. Maybe we'll do some more talking today. So really nice to talk to you. We'll see you in the next class. Mr. Stephen.
One question, Mr. Tunde.
Yeah, I see a few people ask some questions, please.
Yes.
Oh, please, if you have any question, please ask.
Yes, yeah. Can one relocate with one's family? As soon as one passes the
Mommy, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Thank you. So, relocating with one's family is a good thing. However, it can be a bit complicated if you all move together. So, in my own opinion, it is better for the nurse to come in, face all the pressure by yourself, settle down, pass your OSCE, get your PIN. When you get your PIN, then you have your full salary. Then you can afford to bring people in. You can support them financially while they are looking for a job. You know, if it's your husband or your wife, while the other person is looking for a job, you can support them financially because you have your full pay. Because you get paid band 4 before you your pre-registration. Some trusts will pay you band 3, some will pay band 4. It varies across trust. It varies across employers. Some care homes will pay you, I think, maybe £10 or £9 an hour or thereabout. It varies. It varies. It's not set in stone. So you don't want a situation where you bring family. And remember, you need accommodation. Accommodation can be expensive sometimes. So remember, you have to sort out accommodation. You have to sort out feeding. If you have kids, they will need to go to school. You might need childminder. All of those things. You don't want to do all of that in one go. And you now go to NHS with all of that again. It is a lot to deal with in one go. I usually say, do it one by one. So if you're coming by yourself, you would have known, oh, this is the place to get maybe African food, or this is the bus route to maybe schools that they might want to go to. oh, these are job opportunities that might be good for my wife or might be good for my husband. You know, you would have done a few groundwork. You would have registered with the GP. You would have you would have got your NI, so you would have understand the system a little bit than all of you coming in one go. So that's I usually say it's better for the nurse to come in, get, especially with your earning. You don't want anything that will affect your earning. You don't want to be distracted. You know, if you bring your children and God forbid, because when they come into a different place, they might fall ill before they settle in, all those things, it might distract you from work, and you know, your employer, sorry, it might look like they are not being sensitive. Yes, they are, but then they have a service to render. It's a business. They've invested money in you for a reason. If you're not useful for them, what's the point? They might as well just take their certificate of sponsorship away from you. And you are here because your employer is taking or choosing to invest in you, in your skill, which we need here. So yeah, that I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Does anyone have any question?
Somebody asked about the issue of pay or something.
Oh, okay. I'll see. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't even read it before. Oh, okay. I can hear you. So, bringing family, I've answered that. Like, how much monthly pay of both NHS and care home when you first relocate? Like I said, it varies across trusts. Some trusts pay you per, I think a lot of trusts pay band 4. And then band 4 even varies, because in some places you get London waiting. If you're working in London, you get London waiting, and that boosts up your money a bit more. If you're working outside of London, some places they get the fringe benefits. Some places don't get anything at all. So it's hard to, I can if you just hold on, let me see if I can find the NHS pay scale. I'll just, you know, if you want to know, just send me a message on the Telegram group so I don't waste other people's time searching for it. Just send me a message on the Telegram group and I'll just post it on there. In fact, I'll probably just post it on our Telegram group so that anyone can see it there, and we can all have access to that. It said, please, can you give me names of city in the UK where cost of living is not expensive? So it's a relative thing. It's just like, say, for example, you live in Lagos. There are more job opportunities in Lagos, and the cost of living in Lagos is a bit higher than in Ibadan, for example, than in Abeokuta. In London, you'll get the London waiting. In places like Kent, you won't get the London waiting. But anywhere you go, this is what I say to people. If someone is helping you relocate, don't be rigid on the location you want to go to. Oh, maybe because somebody told me Birmingham is good, I want to go to Birmingham. Every city has got their own challenges and down, ups and downs. But with regard to cost, it is almost an independent thing. If you can cut your coat according to the cloth you have, you can live anywhere and you will thrive. It's usually easier when two people in a household, husband and wife, are working. You can put resources together. It's a lot easier. This is why once you are done with your registration, you can bring in family. So with regards to cities, like some people live in Kent. A lot of people live in Kent and work in London. Kent is not too far from London. But now the cost of living is the price of housing. Housing is the major cost people tend to incur in the UK. Housing is a bit expensive sometimes. So the cost of housing is now creeping up gradually to other parts close to London. So some people, like I said, live in Kent and they work in London. So if you live in the outskirts, of any city, you tend to have a bit cheaper accommodation, but you might have to compensate it or with transportation. So it tends to come down to how you manage your resources. Some people come in, they want to splash the cash, blah, 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 blah. Well, yes, you can. But before long, you probably just you go on credit card, and before you know, you get indebted, and you don't want to do that. Because people come in and they want to show off, London, I'll buy the Gucci, I'll buy the Kinika. Most people that you see that flash those things, they're either on credit card or they are doing YY, So back to your question, it might be a good thing to do like a Google search and compare cities. But again, my advice is if you have options of relocation, don't put yourself in that box and say, oh, I only want to go to Northern Ireland. I only want to go to Birmingham. It will reduce the chances you have. Your relocation will take a longer time. We like to work with candidates who are happy to go anywhere. They're flexible. So if any opportunity comes, we'll push their CV forward. Again, there's something important you have to know. No agency can force an employer to employ you. No. What we do is we present your CV to employers. Before now, employers could just, they were so desperate, they could just choose any nurse that comes. They just want any nurse. But now, employers want nurses who have experience. And this is because they've employed a few nurses from abroad who have had problems passing OSCE. So OSCE is the final exam you do here to get your registration pin. Things might change, but for now, OSCE is what you do to get on the NMC register, the Nurse and Midwifery Council here in the UK. So they've had experiences where, and when these employers employ you from abroad, they still have agency that's covering your shift until you're good to go. So, and they need you to have that pin to be able to work as a registered nurse. And they've had experiences where people who have they've hired from abroad have not been able to pass OSCE because of the experience. That's what the research has shown. So it is better for them to choose who would most likely qualify, just like we do. We don't invest our private tutor sessions on just anybody. You have to have, passport, be sure your registration is current, have your nurse, and then we know that you have a chance of going through. So that's what employers do as well. They get people who have experience. So why I'm saying this is, if you are one of those who want a particular location, they just put you there because they cannot force you, or your boss will not force you. Or your boss will ask you, what would you prefer? What's your preference? It's a trap. You don't have preference. You are Nigerian like me. You want to come to the UK. Anywhere is your preference. Hello? Anywhere is your preference. Even if they say, come and be digging hole and be covering it back, digging hole and covering it back, say you shall give me the certificate of sponsorship. Thank you. And you get, so all I'm just trying to say is that wherever you go here will be a lot better than what you have currently. Just take the option that gets presented to you, as long as it is fair and reasonable. Let's say, how is the work? Where can cities? Okay, I've just answered that one now. So, sir, is 3 years the standard that agencies do? Oh, no, it's not just agency. You're not tied to us as agency. You're not tied to us. Your contract is with the employer. So when you get your tier 2 visa, it usually has a duration. It's just like people, when you go and apply for visa and you apply for visiting, they give you 6 months, and then they give you 2 years, and then they give you 5 years, and then 10 years. So the tier 2 visa is structured such that it's initial 3 years. After 3 years, if you're still with the employer and they're happy, they will most likely sponsor you again for renewal. After the renewal, 2 years after that, so 5 years after you get into school, then you qualify for indefinite leave to remain. After the indefinite leave to remain, a year after that is when you get your citizenship. So you're not tied to the agency, you are tied to the employer. If you leave the employer for another employer, be sure that the other employer you are going to will give you a certificate of sponsorship. Be sure they guarantee you certificate of sponsorship. Because if you leave the employer that has brought you, that has invested money in you, you will pay back the money they have invested in you. There are some agencies that they don't want to go through the hard work of sourcing for candidates. You notice that what we do, getting people, training you for free. I don't know any agency that will spend all of this time. They don't. You don't. With due respect, though, you don't matter yet. Once you message them that you've passed IELTS, they will text you almost every other day. How are you? How are things with you? My sister, you are a meal ticket. There's money coming. But before you pass IELTS, yeah, you might even text them. They might not bother replying because you don't matter yet. You see? So so back to what I was saying about once you leave the employer, you need another employer and if you go to another employer, they most likely will pay your debt off, and then you become indebted to them. So that's with the 3 years. So you're not tied to the agency; it's the employer. Even if you go to the NHS or you go to care homes, your initial visa is 3 years, and then you can renew after 3 years. How is the work schedule like, sir? Do we get to choose the days we work? Of course. A lot of employers are very flexible. They don't want you to go off sick. They usually will try and arrange it. Okay, most employers tend to do 4 long days, and then no. You do 37.5 hours. So that's 3 long days, and then 1 week you do 4 long days. So in a month, 3 long days, and then one of the third week or one of the weeks you do 4 long days, and then it evens out the hours. You can work with another employer 20 hours a week. You can do extra 20 hours a week. This is what some people do. Some people who still want to go to the NHS. So what they do is they come in with care homes, because care homes will pay for their travel. When they get here, they settle down, they pass the OSCE, and then after 6 months, they either join agency, because you can work with agency to 20 hours a week, or they join the NHS. They join the NHS bank, and then they can do bank work with the NHS, just trying to get a feel of what working in the NHS is like. Sometimes they do it and they think, yeah, their trouble is too much. They just stay with their care home, JJ, where you understand the system, where you can tell your ACA to go and do tea for you, do this, so, and then some just stay with the agency and they make a lot more money with agency. So a lot of employers are reasonable. So they want you to be able to work, and it's convenient for you and it's convenient for them, and they're covering their shifts. Some might be a bit, not like they're intentionally being mean, but it's just that maybe they need you to do maybe nights, or they need you to do weekends, or they need you to do days. But a lot of times they communicate with you, and they, you reach an agreement. You definitely have a say. Can one do 2 jobs at a time? Of course, yeah, I just answered that. Yes, you can. But so for you to be able to do agency work, you have to have 6 months post-qualification or post-registration experience. So what some people do is they do their extra 20 hours with their employer while they're waiting for their 6 months. And then after 6 months, they can still stay with their employer because it's easy. They know the routine. You might not get as much money as you get with the agency or with the NHS. NHS, I'm not sure you get more anyway. But yeah, so you can do more than 2 jobs at a time. So is telehealth nursing popular in the UK? I will have to Google them. I don't know them. I don't know them. So in a case where your partner is already there, I want to assume you mean here in the UK. Won't it be better to choose to stay with your partner? Of course it is. Of course it is. But the thing is, so the offer is there for them to pay for your accommodation for a month. It is not compulsory. It's a thing of choice. But they want you to be available for the training, OSCE training. If it's a care home you're coming with, they want you to be available for OSCE training. They want you to get to work on time, blah, 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 blah. Usually they pay for about a month. And then after a month, you get your own accommodation. They help you find accommodation if you want them to help you find. If you can find accommodation on your own, it's fine. And then the money comes out from your salary. You don't get any free accommodation after the first month. Because the first one goes as part of your relocation package. So you can of course, you can stay with your partner. So it takes 3 years for us to become a British citizen. Yes, that's correct. 3 years initial visa. After 3 years, you renew. When you renew your visa, after 5 years, you can get indefinite leave to remain. So after indefinite leave to remain, a year after that, you are eligible to become British citizen. It is not free. Hello, it is expensive. Somebody say expensive. That thing is expensive. The money we have paid. I cannot say it in English. I don't know how to say it in English. But at the end of the day, it is rewarding. It is rewarding. Sir, which platform helps us to grow more? The agency, the care home, or the NHS agency? So I'm in the UK, sir. Oh, great. It's good. So, in my honest opinion, if you want to grow, it depends on what you call growth. Maureen, can you please mute the mic? Maureen, it's a bit distracting. So, in my own opinion, growth is relative. I have seen nurses come from abroad, become managers in their care home. Not deputy manager. Deputy manager is almost common now from abroad. Managers in their care home. And that's some okay job, like very okay job. My sister, my brother, in the NHS, manager, dream on. Dream. You might not even get band 6. You might not even get band 6 because there are people there already. See, the NHS is the NHS is about, I think, the third largest employer in the whole world. So this is a live conversation we're having. This is going on YouTube. I've got to be honest. So I am liable for everything I say. The NMC, you know that I'm speaking the truth. So the NHS is the third largest employer. The NHS is good with training. If you want to train, they're good with training, but no system is perfect. So the thing is, you've come from abroad, your experience is valuable here, but it's just that you need to learn the ropes here first. It doesn't happen that quick. It's not like you can't rise. Of course you can rise, but the culture shock will be there. The culture shock. So if the person asking this question is already in the UK, so like I said, growth is relative. Sometimes you can get trainings in the care home. Sometimes you can get trainings in the NHS, but with the agency, it's just for you to make money. The agency, A lot of times you're like a limited company or you work like under an umbrella company. So you're responsible for your training, you train yourself with your money. But the NHS can train you, likewise the care homes. But it now depends on the area you want to specialize in. In the NHS, rise to the top is very competitive, can be very safe. Yeah, I think that's about as much as I can say, in my opinion. So I think I've answered. I hope I've answered that question. If I've not answered that question, you can text me, and if you want me to shed a bit more light, this is a public. I can give you some personal experiences that I cannot share on here. So yeah. So we have, okay, I'm in the UK, so okay. So yeah, well, I'll leave that. You've not asked a question about that. How long does the IELTS process take? How long does the process take after IELTS?
No. That's not what the person was asking. How long does it take after IELTS
to get to the UK? So that is it's dependent on the employer. Like now, COVID is brought up everything to almost a standstill. Ideally, it can happen within 6 weeks sometimes. So from interview to getting your certificate of sponsorship, to getting your so the visa application tends to take about 3 weeks. I've had a situation where I had a candidate who had had all of the process done in about 6 weeks, and I've had another candidate who took a lot longer. So what I have come to realize over time is your documentation sometimes with us, with the employers that we work with, can slow things down a lot. So if your CV and your certificates do not match, it will be a bit of a problem for you to progress quickly because the employers will want to understand your journey. So you say you are 8 years old in 1998. How can you have your GCE or O levels in the year you were 8 years old? And then, so this is an example of the CV not tallying with the certificates you provide. I've had a candidate who spent back and forth, spent like maybe 4 weeks. And I was thinking, what's delaying the process? So one of the employers that I work with sends me like a broadsheet of all the conversation they have with my candidate. So I went through the conversation, and then I realized that that was the main problem because I was new to them then. I'd done one within 6 weeks, and then I'm thinking, why is this one taking 7 weeks? What's going on? And they've not moved, they've not progressed. So I now found out that it was documentation that was the problem. So I now spoke to the candidate. Have you addressed this? They said, oh no, they've not. Why? And they're saying, oh, they've not been able to get the documents. And you're coming to me to say the process is being delayed. Well, there's a part you should have played. So sometimes your documentation can delay things. So if everything is all in line, some employers are quick, some are not. And then sometimes with the NHS, the HR drives the pace at which things move. And you cannot really dictate what happens there. Sometimes it can be, because I've had one that's been done in 6 weeks in total time frame, and I've had some that have taken a lot longer than that. So far, we have 5 that are here, and it's varied, the duration. So there's another question here that says, I thought the first 3 months the accommodation is free for that period. Afterwards, did we get accommodation with their help or without it? from experience that I'm seeing so far, your first month accommodation comes off from your relocation package. Every candidate gets a relocation package. Please, if you're not talking, please can you mute your mic so it doesn't disturb others. So 3 months accommodation, I have not heard that. If you're getting help from them, they're probably giving you a loan from your salary that you'll be earning. They can do that. If you haven't got money to pay for your accommodation, they can give you money from your money. So they'll borrow you money from what you'll be earning, and then you pay you back. They can spread it out so you pay back in bits, and then it's not too much. But no trust. Well, maybe I've not seen. And if a trust is offering you 3 months accommodation, I'd like to know that trust. I don't know any that does it. The standard rule is about 4 weeks. They might either put you in a hotel or get you some alternative accommodation, maybe bed and breakfast or something like that. And then the idea is just to get you into your own accommodation. Hello, sir. Can I have your contact, sir? Of course. My contact is on our Telegram group. I've sent the link to the Telegram group on the chat. You can just click on the Telegram group, or I can give you my mobile. It's 07572 462 680. You most likely want to send me a message on WhatsApp. I just have to let you know. My WhatsApp is the easiest way to contact me, but it can take time sometimes because the traffic that comes on my WhatsApp now is a lot. So it might take a few days before I get your message. Sometimes it might not, but you'll always get an automated message from me. So sometimes if you send me a message, I have a prepared comprehensive message that I usually send to people. If they say, oh, what is the process like? The message I'm sending to you has from passing IELTS till you get here, every step by step, everything. But our people sometimes cannot bother to go through it. You have sent them the information. There's some candidate that's sent me a message lately. Send me a message on Telegram. I sent the same message, comprehensive message back as reply. Sent me a message on WhatsApp, sent the same comprehensive message back that this is what you need. And then the person now said, oh, I've sent you a message, you're not replying. I just get the same message back. I'm thinking, I have sent you a comprehensive message. The answer to all of your questions is there. What else would you want? Because sometimes you don't understand what someone wants. So yeah, it might take time for me to reply to messages sent to me. Please, but it's not like I'm rude or I'm pompous or whatever. It's just that there's a lot I go through daily. So I'll eventually reply. And I usually apologize for replying late if I'm replying late. Please, I am interested in practicing as a nurse anesthetist in the UK. Do they have the CRNA in the UK the way they have in the US? If yes, please, would you advise I do the course before transiting to the UK? So, our training in Nigeria is amazing. Don't waste your time on it. Don't. If you have your BS, your School of Nursing certificate, it is enough to come here. School of Nursing certificate, BSc, because there was a group I saw, they said, oh, now you have your BSc, now you have your School of Nursing, come and do your degree in Nigeria. And there's charging about 600K or something. And I'm thinking, why would you want to go and spend 600K to do degree that will not make any difference if you travel? So in my own opinion, if you really want to get a degree and you have a certificate from a college of nursing right now, if you can travel, pass IELTS and travel, and then you can still do your degree anywhere in the world. It might cost you money, but the degree you're doing abroad, the top up is relevant anywhere in the world. It's a shame our degree in Nigeria is not really, really respected. So nurse anesthetist, I think it's a new pathway in the UK. I know it's more established in the US. I have a friend who does nurse anesthetist in the US, but it's a very new pathway in the UK. And I won't say it's not impossible for you to get through it. I won't say it's not impossible. It just might be a bit difficult. So I know there are courses you have to do. Better to do the course here if you want to. But I think they're still new. They're not as popular as a lot of other courses. So to answer your question, I'll say get here and do it, or maybe if it's the US you want to go to, I'm not sure how the system works there. If you can just come from abroad and do the course. Please say it again, sir. I didn't cut. Oh, the number. Let me just type the number here. It's 07572 462 680. So you will have to put the +44 in front. So it'll be what's plus? So +44. So if you're putting +44, then you don't need the 0. So it's +447572 462 680. It's important I let you know because some people have said, "Oh, you're advertising because you get paid. You get paid." Of course, I get paid for helping to recruit you for the employer. That is why I can afford to pay to this training you have. I can afford to invest 120. I can afford to do all those things because I want to help people. And then the money I get paid covers the cost, and then I don't. It's not like I'm going out of pocket per se. So just to let you know, I get paid by the employer, like the agency I work with. So there's a bigger agency. Our agency is still growing. We're not that big that we can approach employers ourselves. So we work with another agency, and we're exploring other agencies right now. So we supply you to the agency. They help you get the interviews with the employer. After the interview, then the employer pays for your flight, your visa application, health surcharge, all the shebang. So what we do is for everyone who refers a nurse to us, we pay a commission of £200. So for every nurse you refer, up to 10, we pay you £200 each as your effort for bringing the nurse. So if we help the nurse relocate to here, after 10, so if you refer 11 nurses, so from your nurse 11, we're able to offer you £300 each on every nurse from nurse 11. And we get paid when the nurse starts work. You get paid the day we get paid. We can do this because we are a registered company, so we can get paid for the services we render. I have seen a few candidates who are nurses who come into the UK and then they want to become recruiters. They become recruiters. It is a slippery slope because you're here to work for your employer, and then you can work extra 20 hours. Every other money that comes into your account, you should be able to account for. Where is it coming from? So if you're a recruiter, that means you're working. Are you, by law, allowed to do that? It'd be good to ask yourself a honest question. Because a lot of times we get away with it. And then when it is time for your renewal, or when it is time for your indefinite leave to remain, my brother, my sister, there is records for everything we do. I know people who have come in and they have been receiving child benefits. You are not supposed to receive child benefits. On your visa, it says no recourse to public funds. Please do not be tempted to do it. Some of our people get here, they have kids. Automatically, when you have kids, the social service, they will offer you, oh, you're entitled to this, entitled to that. Just say thank you. Just say thank you and leave it alone. Because when it's now time for you to get indefinite leave to remain or time for you to get citizenship, they will open the book for you and it might be a bit of a problem. So that is why I would advise our people to just face your work. Kenny, face your work. So let's what's the other question? Please, oh yeah, I've answered that one. Can one relocate to the UK by December with the present situation in the world now? I would say it is not impossible. So I'm helping a candidate currently go through the visa application. Most trusts are not offering certificate of sponsorship currently. But weirdly, an employer offered this person certificate of sponsorship. And I'm thinking, okay, how? But, you know, because right now, we are expecting a second wave of COVID. So a lot of trusts are now recruiting. Most trusts are recruiting locally. But the thing is, if a trust is not able to recruit locally, they might want to explore other options. So maybe that's the reason they've given this individual certificate of sponsorship. I won't know. But if this person applies and they get a visa, when the airspace is open, I'm sure they can come in. But when they come in, I think they will have to go into quarantine for 14 days. But actually, they won't. Because if you're a nurse or you're a healthcare worker, you don't need to go into quarantine as long as you don't have symptoms. But if you have symptoms, then you let them know and then you can have to self-isolate. So yeah, I think there's a caveat where healthcare workers do not need to go into quarantine if they come into the UK. I hope I have answered all the questions. So there's a possibility if you get an employer that will issue the certificate of sponsorship, then you might be able to come in. It's just that even though we are applying with this candidate for the visa, sending the documents to the embassy is paramount. But those ones are closed. So now we're not sure how to go about that, but we'll just do what we need to do on filling the form online, and then we'll take it from there. So it's not impossible. It might be possible for one to get into the UK by December. So I think we've answered all the questions. In the absence of any other question, I want to say this is being done out of love. Please show love to people around you. Share your knowledge. There's a bit of problem with our people. When we see opportunity, we tend to just hide it from others and just want to be the only one on top. My brother, my sister, the sky is wide enough for all birds to fly. And in my own opinion, we rise by lifting others. Today, I might be in this position. Tomorrow, I might need your help. But if you are still in Nigeria and I have not contributed to your success of getting here, I might not be able to get that help. So that's why if you see opportunity to help, just do it. Even so, I've done some help to some people, and they don't even say thank you, and it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes I just say to them that I don't mind, but if you are with someone else, maybe just remember to say thank you, because they might hold it against you and you might not get any other opportunity again. Little things that we need to learn before coming here. excuse me, thank you, please. They are very important words that will not take anything away from you, but they will help you get really, really far. Finally, please try not to swear. You know, in Nigeria, we use the F word, and it is part of our just slang. Here it is offensive. Like it is a never ever derogatory. Like, how dare you swear? It's not professional. And please, when you come into the UK eventually, especially with medication, please, with medication, be sure you are giving the right patient. Be sure if you make mistake, please own up. Do not cover your mistake. So this profession is an easy way to jail if one is not careful. Maybe some of the things that might be important, might be useful is when you come here, go to the Corona Court. Just go and observe what they do in the Corona Court. It will put the fear of God in you. And everything you do, please document. The patient did this, you did that. Please document. It will help you. I think we'll talk some more some other time. It's just a lot of times when we have the class, I'm just not available. I'm either driving or, just here and there. Again, I want to say very well done to Mr. Steve. We really appreciate you. I want to say well done to all of you who are present too. And I want to say a very good night to you all. God bless you. I've answered all the questions here. So
thank you very much, sir.
good
Thank you.
night,
That's so
everyone.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye, sir.